You and Your Young Child, a program of information and services available for you and your child from prenatal to age 5. You and Your Young Child has been brought to you in part by Minor Family Dentistry and by the Sternberg Museum of Natural History. Minor Family Dentistry would like to bring you the following dental health tip. It's recommended to have a dental checkup no later than your child's first birthday. An adult should brush for a young child and monitor older children's brushing to ensure a good job is done. Flossing should start when teeth are touching. Minor Family Dentistry wishes you good dental health. Families, including children of all ages, are welcome. Minor Family Dentistry, 1010 Downing and Hayes. Find them in the Next Tech directory.
So, you think you have skeletons in your closet? Come to Sternberg Museum, where we let our skeletons out of the closet.
Hello, and welcome to You and Your Young Child, the program devoted to early childhood. My name is Dana Stanton, and I'm the coordinator of the West Central Kansas Smart Start program. And with me today is Kris Schulte. Good morning, Kris.
Good morning.
How many times have you been on the show?
This is my third time.
So you're a pro. So tell us today, first of all, what do you do? Who do you work for?
I am the early childhood mental health consultant with USD 489. I work with children and families, children birth to 5 and their families. And then I also work with preschool providers and child care providers.
Okay. Now, what are you going to talk to us about today?
In May, we have, on May 3rd, is the National Children's Mental Health Awareness Day. It's a national program that is sponsored by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. That's a full mouth right there.
Yeah.
It is. But their focus this year is on helping children build resilience, that children who have gone through some trauma.
Okay. Talk more about resilience. What do you mean resilience for children?
That is a child's ability to go through a traumatic experience and come on the other side of it and be stronger for it.
Now, the word trauma, to me, people might think of a car accident or something like that, but what kind of trauma can a young child go through?
And that's a perfect example of something that a child might go through. But even our national events that are happening now, Japan, tsunami, when the World Trade Centers were attacked, all of those kinds of things, they affect us as caregivers, and so therefore they affect our children. But then there's also traumatic events that happen directly to children, such as a possible divorce, separation, parents leaving who are in the military. Any kind of traumatic event that affects the child's life can affect them, the caregivers, and also the child.
I lost my mother not too long ago, and I knew it would affect my children, but probably not to the extent that it did. So, I think sometimes we take for granted that children bounce back, and maybe not so much all the time. Yeah.
And we have to remember as caregivers that what affects us affects our children, just because it affects our ability to really care for them in the way that we have typically cared for them.
No, so it wasn't just that they lost their grandmother, they saw their mom grieving. So it was a double whammy.
Exactly.
Now, how do we build resilience in our children?
Well, one way to help them through these traumatic events is try to keep things as routine as possible. Now, if the child is lost one of their caregivers, that's going to be really difficult. But it is important to keep things as typical as they have had that. Also, to be in tune to their feelings about what is happening, to be attuned, responsive, attentive to the child. And again, if you're a caregiver that is undergoing this traumatic event, that's going to be difficult to do. And so it's important as a caregiver, if you're feeling like you need some help to deal with this, that you get that help. So you can be a good caregiver for your child.
Now, if you need that help, as a parent, where do you go? What do you do?
Well, we have many agencies in our community that can help with that. If you need some information about that, you can contact me. My number is 623-2630. or you can contact your community mental health center, which here in Hayes is High Plains Mental Health, and they have many resources that would be able to assist you.
And I guess as a Smart Start coordinator, I want to put a plug in. A lot of people might hesitate to get help like that because they think, well, I can't afford it or my insurance won't cover it. But here in Hayes, we're very blessed. We have agencies that will take your insurance or maybe take a medical card, or maybe even if you don't have insurance at all. We do have resources that you can get those services if you need them.
That's right. Our Smart Start grant, if you have a child under the age of 5, you are able to access some funding for mental health services. For if, let's say that you are a person that just lost their mother, and at this point your child is not really needing additional services, but you need some help to cope with what you're feeling. But you don't have insurance. Your children may have insurance, but you don't have insurance. This is a fund, as long as your child is under the age of 5, that you can access to get that help for you as the caregiver, because it is so important that you get the services and support that you need to be able to support your children.
Because happy parents make happy children, and in the same way, if parents are upset, it affects their children. So we're very blessed in Hayes. So there's really all sorts of ways that you can get help here in Hayes.
And I think sometimes we think, oh, this might have happened to me, but it doesn't really affect my child. And we hear this a lot. Children are resilient. Well, yes, they are resilient, but they need some help sometimes in order to support them to that resiliency.
Now, one more time, give us your number if someone would like to contact you for more information.
It is 623-2630.
Thank you, Kris. And you've been watching You and Your Young Child, the program devoted to early childhood. Parents, remember, you are your child's first and best teacher. Thank you.
Thanks for watching You and Your Young Child, a program of information and services available for you and your child from prenatal to age 5. You can watch the program weekdays in the noon and 9 o'clock hours. You and Your Young Child has been brought to you in part by Minor Family Dentistry and by the Sternberg Museum of Natural History.